my god, I just have to show off my cat to you guys. Like, she's so precious. Baby, what are you doing? Sugar bear. Shuggy. Hey guys, recently I've been asked by two separate people, one if I would consider remaking the my crazy cheating coked out ex story time video, because that was the second ever video I ever uploaded to my channel. So granted, I didn't put much like personality into that video, but I think I did divulge all the information that I needed to share, and I don't really want to have to recap a story that is that long. Like, for fuck's sake, when I redid the ultimate fuckboy story time, that was a 45-minute video. But also, I've had a request from a girl if I would talk about how I like got over my ex cheating on me and like what that process was for me. So instead of retelling the whole story and making a video about how I got over cheating, I just kind of thought I would make a video just talking about like when I found out about him cheating on me and how I felt and how I like ultimately overcame that. And I don't really have that amazing of advice for how to get over something that traumatic, because everyone deals with something that upsetting differently. It was literally, not exaggerating, the most devastating thing that I've had to deal with in my entire life so far, which I know sounds so stupid, and anyone who's experienced like a great loss, like a death of a family member or something super significant like losing your house in a flood, or you know, there's so much stuff that happens to people that is so much worse than being cheated on. So I'm not trying to make myself look so stupid by being like that's the worst pain I've been through in my life, but honest to God, like emotionally, I haven't yet experienced like the death of someone that I am super close to. Like, I have yet to experience anything like traumatic happening to me other than being cheated on. So like, even if that seems like not a traumatic thing to you because you've gone through something worse, because I validate that, I do agree that there's so much worse things that happen to people than being cheated on. I'm just saying that for me personally in my life, I know that I'm privileged and I'm so fortunate that so far that is the worst emotional pain I've had to go through. But because that is the most emotionally devastating thing I've gone through, I really hope that if you're going through something similar or have before, you just really take my words to heart, because if I could get through something that was the most emotionally devastating thing of my entire life, like the kind of emotionally devastating where you feel like you're gonna die, like you feel like there's no way you'll ever recover from that moment, just know like I survived that and I went through that. And if you're going through something similar, just know that it was so unbelievably heartbreaking for me. Even if that sounds so stupid, like it's horrible. It's a pain that I honestly wouldn't wish on people that I hate. Like, I don't think anyone deserves to have to go through the pain of finding out that someone that you've been loyal to and you've been dating and that you've been in love with and that you've been calling your boyfriend has been having sex with other people. Like, that's shit. So just backstory to start this off. This happened to me literally 4 years ago, like actually today. Like, today is August 13th and I'm very positive that this happened between August 11th to August 14th of 2013. So that is like exactly 4 years ago, like give or take a day, but this literally 4 years ago. 4 years is a long time, and I have been with so many guys since then. Like, my ex doesn't mean anything to me. Like, we're friends on Facebook and Snapchat, but like seeing pictures of him even with new girls like does nothing to me. Like, it's so funny, not like funny, but just 4 years ago I was so devastated over this person. Like, literally to this day, 4 years ago I literally thought I was going to die from emotional pain, and now that person that caused me all that pain that I thought I could never live without is now someone I can see pictures of with new girls and I don't feel anything. Like, we're not even friends. Like, I'm okay having him on Snapchat and Facebook and stuff because like I don't care, and when I'm like 40, I guess it'll be kind of interesting to see like what my first boyfriend's doing, like who he's married to, whatever, but I don't care. Like, I could easily not have him on those things, but I think he really enjoys being on my social media. Once every 2 months or so, like once every other month or so, he will Snapchat me just something super random, like a selfie or something, like him at a bar, and I literally never respond. Like, I don't know what the purpose of it is. I think it's just him trying to be like, hey, I'm still here, like no hard feelings, right? Like, are we friends? And I'm just kind of like, dude, like 4 years ago today we were dating, he was my boyfriend. we were at like the peak of our love for each other. Like, I was so in love with him, he was so in love with me. Like, our relationship was so good. This was the summer before I went into my senior year of high school, and I'm about to be a senior in college. That's so funny, like literally exactly 4 years. I was visiting him on a trip, and I had stayed with him for like a whole week because he was in Florida, I was in Texas, so I would go to visit him for like large portions of time, especially during the summer when I had the opportunity to do so. So I was visiting him for a whole week, and it was the last day of our trip together. Like, we were in the hotel room cleaning up the room, like I was packing my bag, like we were gonna go to the airport in a couple hours kind of thing, like literally the last day. Backtrack like a few months before this, like 6 months before this, he was liking this one girl's pictures on Facebook all the time, and it'd be like her in a bikini, like her at the pool, just like everything she posted, and of course it had to be her like half naked. He was liking the pictures because, you know, Facebook will show you like blah blah liked a photo or liked a meme or whatever, and it'll show you like the content that the person liked or commented on or whatever. So every time he liked this girl's shit, it would pop up in my newsfeed, even though I'm sure he thought he was slick. Like, my girlfriend will never know, they're not mutual friends, but like I see like you liked a photo, and then I see the photo and it's this really hot half naked girl. Like, what? And usually I don't care about like liking other girls' pictures or whatever, and I knew that he had friends that were girls, but like I had the worst gut instinct about this girl. I was like, this is weird, like I don't like this, but like what am I supposed to do? I can't like accuse my boyfriend of anything. Like, I don't even live in the same state, I have no proof. Like, he's liking a picture. And I mentioned her a couple times, just being like, hey, like, who is this girl? Like, you've never talked about her, like you like a lot of her pictures, like that's fine, like I usually know who your female friends are, like I've never heard you talk about this girl. And I asked him about her like really casually like that, like 2 or 3 times over like the 6-month period that I was like kind of geeking out about it, and he would just be like, babe, like she's just a girl from my class, like I just liked a picture, like I like tons of pictures, like it doesn't mean anything, like you're freaking out, like would try and make me feel so dumb for even asking, which is always a red flag if they turn shit on you. So I was suspicious of that, but never had any proof or whatever, but I knew her name obviously because I'd like stalked the fuck out of her. And so this was like August 4 years ago, about to start senior year of high school. We were cleaning up the hotel room, and I had never looked through my boyfriend's phone ever in our entire time dating, and we've been dating for years. I'd never looked through his phone. I didn't even have his phone password. Like, I swear to God, I am not that crazy of a bitch. Like, I don't do a lot of the things that like stereotypical crazy girls do. Like, I just don't do that shit. Like, I'm pretty sane. Whoever dates me, like, you're so lucky. We were cleaning up, about to check out of the hotel, and he was taking summer classes that like summer, and he was like, hey, like I need this login pin to log in online to like see my grades for my summer final, whatever. So he was like, gave me this sheet of paper, and he was like, can you type this access code into the notepad on my phone, because I'm just gonna throw this paper away, like I'm not gonna be able to keep up with this paper. So I was like, okay, sure, like what's your password, like whatever. Like, totally wasn't being a sketchball. Go into his phone, don't go to messages, don't go to Instagram, literally don't look at anything that could be incriminating. I go straight to the notepad app of the iPhone, and the very first note in the app says Gabby, which was his ex-girlfriend's name, like the girl that he like lost his virginity to, like his great first love, his like huge first substantial girlfriend, the girl that he dated before he like seriously dated me. And I was like, that's kind of weird. Like, why would you have the first name, like the first notepad in your phone be the name of your ex-girlfriend who you haven't dated for a very long time? So I click on it because like duh, and it's just like a list of like 5 or 6 girls' names, and there were like 3 names on there that I had never heard of, and one of those names was the girl who he was liking all the pictures for from 6 months ago. So like, I'm not stupid, I instantly knew this was a fuck list. There's girls that I've never heard of. Like, I thought he had been so transparent with me about like who he'd had sex with before me, but clearly not, because who are all these other people? There were names listed after my name, which meant that he'd had sex with me and then these other people, but like, we only had sex while we were dating, so why are you having sex with other people after me while you're my boyfriend? And one of the girls was the girl that I was suspicious of, and I literally was just like on the brink of tears, like getting so like clammed up, like when you're about to just like burst out crying, and I just hold the phone, I walk into the bathroom because he's like cleaning up the bathroom counter in the hotel room, and I just set it on the counter and I go, what's that? And he like looks at it and looks at me, and you can tell he like instantly starts panicking, and he literally tries to feed me some lie, like something so dumb, like, oh, like don't, like those are just like girls I know, like oh my god, how can you even lie your way out of this? Like, you're not that smart, buddy. Like, no. And then that's when I just full on lost my shit. Like, if someone could see how I was reacting in that moment, they would probably guess that like I had just seen my like family member get shot in cold blood. Like, that's how I was acting, like losing my shit, the worst pain in my entire life. I was crying hysterically, like unreal. Like, I have never cried like this in my entire life. It was crazy. I was screaming, I was crying, like snot, like just losing my fucking shit. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, losing my goddamn mind. Think of a scene in a movie where someone finds out that someone dies and they like curl up on the floor and they're like, ah, like screaming, crying, like losing their shit, like it's a shit storm. That was me in the hotel. Like, mind you, we're in a hotel, so like everyone in the whole hallway that was where our room was could definitely hear me losing my shit. And my ex was just like, I'm so sorry, like, I don't know, like, he had like nothing to say, because like, what can you say? Like, you did something horrible, and you didn't even do it one time, you did it multiple times with multiple girls. Like, you were full blown doing whatever the fuck you wanted with anyone you wanted, while you had your nice, sweet little loyal as fuck girlfriend in Texas who was clueless what was going on because she was states away, and you just completely abused every single bit of power you had because we were in a long distance relationship. Like, fuck you. I was like, I don't know what to do, like, I don't know if we can be together anymore, because like, that's what you do, right? Like, when someone cheats on you, you break up, like, no brainer. Like, I was losing my fucking mind, and he was like, what? Like, we're not gonna be together now? And then like, he was super upset, and like, he started to cry, and it was just like a total shit show. Basically, what happened is I went back to Texas that day because I needed to. Literally spent the entire day crying. Literally, I was in the airport bawling my eyes out. Like, everyone who was around me in the airport was like, probably thought that I had just experienced a death. Like, I was uncontrollable. I have never cried this hard, this much, for this long. Cried all the way in the airport, cried in the plane home to Texas, cried when I got back home, slept in my parents' bed with them, like next to my mom, for multiple nights. Like, I was a wreck. Like, it was the worst pain I've ever felt. I never thought I would get over it. And like, the worst part was, like, even worse than the betrayal, and even worse than knowing I was in Texas being like the most loyal girlfriend, like, wouldn't even talk to other guys, wouldn't text other guys, like, while my boyfriend was doing all these crazy things. What like was so worse about all of it was that when him and I had started dating, my dad called him on the phone, like, man to man, just being like, look, like, I know that you're in college, you're a few years older than Brighton, like, are you really committed to her? Like, do you actually love her? Do you want to be in a relationship with her? Because my parents were putting in so much money for him and I to see each other because we were long distance and like paying for plane tickets and stuff and hotel rooms. And my dad called him man to man being like, are you really gonna be able to avoid the temptation of college? Like, is this really what you want? And he was straight up like, yeah, like, I love Brighton, like, I would never hurt her, blah blah blah. So that was like the huge slap in the face to my family, because he basically lied to my parents. And then also, the worst part for me was that I just could not get the mental image out of my head of him having sex with these other girls. Having sex with someone that you're in love with or that you're dating is so worlds different than just having sex to have sex, or having sex casually, or whatever. The serious, like, super in love, we're in love with each other, boyfriend, girlfriend, like, lovey, we love each other's sex, that was the sex that I had with my ex, because he was my first boyfriend, the guy I lost my virginity to. Like, we were so in love. And just to picture like the way he had sex with me and like how intimate that was, and like just knowing every detail about how this person has sex, like how this person fucks, the way this person looks at me when they're having sex with me, like all the sounds they make, like when you know every single aspect of the way someone has sex with you, and then just think about them having sex like that with someone else, like looking at another girl that way, making those noises with another girl, like on top of another girl like that, like it's fucking sickening. Like, that was the worst part for me. I couldn't get out of my head, like, the thing that you and I do that's most intimate, that's most personal to our entire relationship, you went and did that with other people while still visiting me visiting you, us having sex, like, when we saw each other. Like, oh my god, that was the worst fucking part of all of it. A week into me being back into Texas, he contacted me and he wanted to break up. He like completely gave up on his whole like, I'm so sorry, what do I have to do to regain your trust bullshit, and was just like, yep, you're right, I can't be faithful, let's just break up. And then that pissed me off so bad. I was like, now you don't even want to fight for me. Now, after you've been caught, you're basically saying, yep, I'm a piece of shit, I'm not going to be faithful, let's break up. And then I was such a weak person. I was 18, this was my first boyfriend, I was still in high school, I had a whole year of high school left. Like, just think of yourself in high school, like, LOL, OMG. I was so clueless. I knew that we should break up because he couldn't be faithful, he cheated, like, non-negotiable. Like, if anyone ever cheated on me now, I would be fucking slashing their tires and hitting their windows with a Louisville Slugger, so Carrie Underwood. I would fuck someone's shit up if they cheated on me now. But at the time, I just, as hurt as I was, I couldn't imagine him and I not being boyfriend, girlfriend, and me not having that best friends anymore, that love. Like, your first huge breakup is so painful, but not as painful as finding out that your first huge love was having sex with other girls. And I just was so immature, so naive, so not headstrong, not confident in myself. I couldn't picture us breaking up, and him being like, well, I want to break up because I can't be faithful. That just pissed me off, and I was like, fuck you, like, you can't break up with me. Like, I don't want to break up. I want us to work this out. And then he was like, okay, well, if you want to work it out, like, I guess we can work it out, because, like, we were still in love with each other. We were both so fucking dumb, like, clearly. And so we worked it out, which we didn't. I didn't trust him at all. Every single time he liked a girl's picture, every single time he went out, I was kind of like, what the fuck are you doing? 6 months after that happened, my good friend who lived in Florida, who was the girl who was in a sorority at FSU that I almost joined that sorority, she was like my best friend, like all through senior year of high school. Like, she couldn't wait for me to come down to FSU and be with her. And like one day when she was visiting Gainesville, like to party with her best friend, they found my boyfriend on fucking Tinder. So like 6 months after I found out about him cheating, my best friend screenshotted me his Tinder profile. I immediately sent the screenshot to my boyfriend. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what the fuck? And he was like, I've had that Tinder for so long, like, blah, 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 like, totally just trying to make it seem like it was just some random profile that he had that was just still floating in Tinder space. But at the time, this was when Tinder showed you, like, how recently someone was on the app, and it said he had been active, like, 1 day ago. Like, I wasn't falling for it. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you're such a piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. So by this point, we were still dating, even after all of this. My feelings for him were dwindling so intensely. Like, I didn't like him as much anymore. I couldn't trust him, so like every day was a battle. He grew a literal cocaine addiction. He had to drop out of college for 1 semester to like go home, get therapy, like get prescribed medication, like I don't know, do all this shit you have to do when you're trying to like not be addicted to cocaine anymore. And so like I would go visit him at his home in his hometown, not even at his college, to, like be with him while he was going through this like cocaine addiction recovery. Like all this horrible bullshit that he put me through the last 9 months of our relationship, from me finding out about the cheating, him having a Tinder, him getting a cocaine addiction, like the last 9 months of our relationship was hell. Like, it was awful. Like, we should not have been together, but we were both so stupid, and like I don't know what I was thinking. And the last like 4 to 6 months of that relationship, I didn't even like him. Like every single day I like wanted to break up with him, and like I couldn't do it. It was shit, you guys. I've gone through that. I dealt with being cheated on. I found the proof, like literally like a movie scene. It's like I don't even know how to talk about it because I can't describe it to anyone unless you've been through it. And if you've been cheated on, like, you know the astronomical emotional pain that goes along with that. Like, it's so fucked up. Moral of this story, I don't have advice that I can give on how to get over that. Like, it's the worst feeling, and as cheesy as it is, like, the only way you get over it is time. Like, time really heals all wounds. Just with anything in life, no matter how shitty something is, there's always a silver lining, and there's always, like, a greater life purpose for it, a greater life lesson, and you're gonna come out stronger, and there's going to be a day that you don't care. Like, I'm always going to care that my ex cheated on me. That's always going to be a substantial part of that relationship. Like, for the rest of the time now, whenever anyone asks me about, like, my last / first serious super boyfriend, like, why we broke up, this, anyone that I ever date, anyone that ever wants to know that about my life is going to have to know that he cheated on me and he was a sack of shit. He's never going to live that down. He's, like, a notorious cheater. He cheated on the girlfriend before me. He cheated on me. He cheated on the girlfriend he had after me. I know this for a fact because I'm friends with, like, all of his friends. Like, everyone talks. Like, he's a cheater. And I remember even when he was caught cheating on me, I, like, asked him, like, why would you do this? Like, I don't understand it. Like, what's the mentality behind hurting me like this and doing this? And he literally said to me something along the lines of, because his dad was a cheater and cheated on his mom all the time, which is one of the huge reasons why they got a divorce, he thinks that it's, like, in his blood, and that's just how he is now. And I'm like, you are such a piece of shit. The fact that you're trying to tell me that the reason you cheated on me was because it's a hereditary thing, because your dad cheated on your mom, like, you are dumb as fuck. Like, how much cocaine did you fucking ingest? Let me the fuck know. And I think what's even bigger in all of this is, like, he has to live with that forever. Like, I genuinely believe to this day that I was the best girlfriend he's ever had. I think that's why he reaches out to me every other month. I think that if I ever said to him that I wanted to work things out or rekindle things, he would drop everyone in his life just to, like, get to know me again. Like, I'm not even just saying that. Like, I'm not exaggerating. I really believe that. And I think that he has to live with it every day for the rest of his life. life that he knows that the reason him and I didn't work out was single-handedly his doing. And he has to live with his decisions, and he has to live with knowing that everyone that I ever date for the rest of the time who hears that story, or anyone that becomes my best friend that hears that story, gets to know that about him, and he has to live with that. And that's so much worse than me having to be the victim, because that's what it is. You're a victim, and just like in any situation where you're a victim, whether it's sexual assault or cheating or anything where you're the victim, do not make up reasons in your head why you think it's your fault. Don't tell yourself shit like, well, maybe I wasn't having sex with him enough, maybe it was because we were long distance. Like, there's so much that you can tell yourself in a situation that you're cheated on to try and justify it. Like, well, maybe I did it. Like, maybe I was so shitty, or I did something so horrible to push him away to where he had to have sex with someone else. Like, it's easy to do that. Don't do that. You're literally a victim. Don't blame yourself. Don't make excuses for the other person. All there is to it, the facts was you were cheated on. You're a victim of someone being super selfish, doing something so shitty to you, not giving a fuck about your feelings, not giving even the most minute ounce of respect for you. Like, if you're someone who's cheated on, please be strong enough to end the relationship. Like, that is like my biggest regret with that relationship, even though I know everything happens for a reason and I don't like to live with regret, is I just wish I would have called it off like the second that it happened. Like, I would have been better off. It wouldn't have led me through 9 more months of a shitty relationship, just holding on to something that clearly wasn't even there anymore. It's like, I'm proof that even if you stick through it and you try and work it out and you try and move on and get stronger because of it, like, it doesn't work. Like, you just fucking deteriorate and nothing's the same. You'll never have trust again. Just call it the fuck off. Like, seriously, that is more than being a fuckboy. Like, you're an evil fucking person if you cheat. Like, if you go and have sex with even one other person, let alone multiple other people, when you have a loyal as fuck boyfriend or girlfriend at home, up at night wanting to know where you are, just like wanting you to be home safe while you're literally having sex with someone else, like, you are the world's worst type of fucking person. Like, the fucking worst. Like, you are fucking scum, and don't ever let someone who's scum make you feel like it's your fault or you could have done something differently in the relationship to prevent it, because you couldn't have. People that cheat, like, literally have like a mental problem, like, on some level. Like, you have to be a little mentally fucked up. Like, it doesn't, like, it's, oh my god, it makes no sense. Why the fuck would you not just break up with someone if you really don't like them enough anymore? You want to have sex with someone that badly. Why would you not break up? Like, that is the epitome of wanting to have your cake and eating it too, and it's so selfish and so disgusting. And as time goes on and you start to, like, get over it and you realize that everything happens for a reason and you're so much stronger because of that, you're going to start to, like, realize things about yourself that you wouldn't have known before. Like, I know now that I can overcome really emotionally traumatic situations and I can come out alive. Like, yeah, I might be depressed as fuck for months. I might cry myself to sleep for weeks. Like, it might be the worst emotional pain in my entire life. I might not ever know how I'm ever gonna get over it, but now I know that I can survive that pain. Like, it literally felt like I was going to die. Like, I felt like there was no way my body could go on. Like, you know how they say, like, people can die of heartbreak? Like, I literally thought that was going to be me. I literally thought there would be no way I would ever overcome this, and here I am, like, not even giving a fuck about that guy. I don't even think about him ever. Like, so irrelevant. Even if I haven't dated, like, seriously dated really anyone since that guy, I have been involved with literally so many guys that have been worlds better, like, so much more of a man than that guy ever was or will be. So there's always someone better, especially in the case of someone cheating on you. Basically everyone else in the world is better, because cheating is not a common thing, I don't think. I think if someone's cheating, they're fucked ass up, and you need to go find one of the 100,000 people that will not cheat on you instead. It also made me realize that just because at one point I thought that that was the person that I was going to marry and that's the person that I was going to be destined to be with forever, obviously it wasn't. And it made me realize that, one, you're not always right about that, even when you think you are, and two, just because you think you're going to end up with someone forever and that makes the heartbreak and the breakup and the learning about the cheating so much worse, it also makes you so much stronger when you overcome it, because then you realize, like, no way in hell I would ever marry that person. Like, what the fuck? And it's just so funny and, like, enlightening to think about once you've moved on, because you realize that there's so many better people out there, and you just realize just because you think you're going to marry someone, you think you found the one, like, maybe you really haven't. I mean, if they're cheating on you, you haven't. I urge you, if you feel like you are in a really negative mindset because you've been cheated on, you kind of feel like, oh, it's my fault, like, I deserve this, like, I only attract, like, the worst guys. Like, if you're in that mindset, please know that you're better than that and you're worth more than that, and that is part of being a victim, is you get this mentality like that. That's very negative and it's very draining, and try to just be as strong in a person to be like, fuck that. That's not my fault. Every woman deserves to be treated with respect. Everyone deserves love. Everyone deserves loyalty. And if you're not getting that, then those people shouldn't be in your life, and don't get into like this sick cycle of being with shitty people just because you were cheated on, because I definitely went there. Just know that I validate to you that if you're cheated on and it's the worst pain of your entire life, that's valid. Like, you're allowed to feel that way, and you're allowed to be so unbelievably depressed and upset about it. But just know that you will get over it, and you're the victim of some really emotionally abusive shit, and you don't deserve that, and you need to cut that person out of your life as soon as possible. And you're going to grieve, and you're going to feel pain. There's no way that I can tell you how to not feel pain. Like, it's the worst pain ever. Like, you were betrayed by someone that you loved and you were committed to. But just know that you will get over it eventually, and you will be so much stronger because of it. In your future relationships, once you learn from those mistakes and learn from the situation, will be so much stronger and so much better, and you'll start to attract really, really great positive guys once you realize that that's negative and that's not what you deserve. I will see you guys all in the next video. Bye!